ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another one of my podcasts. Today, I'm honored to have Ms. Olga Labai with us. Olga was introduced to me by a dear friend that I trust very much, and it's an honor to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dariush. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Olga, tell me a little about yourself. Tell our audience a little about you, because your background is totally fascinating. Where were you born? Tell us about your upbringing, what brought you here, and I know you have been in a very specialized sector, which is oil and gas. It's something that I know has got a lot of money in it, but I have no idea how it works. Okay, so I know you're moving on careers outside oil and gas, but I'd like to know a little bit about that as well, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Okay. So I was born in Sakhalin Island, which is very close, an island very close to Japan, and I was raised to...
Is this a Russian?
Russia, yes,
wow.
yes.
So
it's
you're totally
far
on
east
the
of
east
Russia.
side.
Absolutely.
Does that mean it's very cold?
No, not really. No, we do have summer. It's just that the summer reminds me of pretty much London autumn weather. You know, it's
rainy, dark, grey.
When you go to the north of the island, yes, it will be supremely cold.
Wow, I've never in my life heard of this island.
We have billions of dollars sailing in the sea as a fish, salmon,
really?
The best salmon,
so
huge
you're
scallops.
South of Alaska, right?
We are
nowhere near Alaska.
No, we are west of Alaska. We are close to Alaska, but we are west of Alaska.
Wow.
Right above Japan.
That's incredible. You forget how, because everyone I meet is from the Moscow side.
Yes.
St. Petersburg.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. I've never ever met anyone on the east side of Russia, because you forget how big Russia is.
It is huge. It takes 9 hours to fly from Sakhalin to Moscow, then another 5 hours from Moscow to Dubai, and you're like, I've just traveled for 40 hours just to get to one place.
And how far is it from there to LA?
From there to LA, we will fly through Anchorage. So Tokyo, Anchorage. And I've done that journey when I was 15. You would go Sakhalin to Tokyo, Tokyo to Anchorage, Anchorage to San Francisco.
A long way.
And then, it's about 24 hours in.
Wow, so you don't realize? Oh my God!
Yeah.
So the nearest place to you is Japan, right?
The nearest place
Southeast
is Japan.
Asia.
Yes, we go to Seoul a lot, to Korea. So, and Thailand, of course, are the destinations for
You know, I live in Phuket.
Yeah,
so.
well, Phuket is the place where everybody have been, but I haven't.
It's really nice, and the prices are shooting up. I'm just looking at the price of buying homes, and I'm like, oh no. So how many people live on this island?
There are about 250 in the entire region, which is one island and one big island, and then the
250,000.
Yes, a series of
not 250.
250,000.
Okay. Wow.
We are losing people. People are leaving.
Cities and.
Yes, but basically, when oil and gas projects started in 1994, first production sharing agreement was signed between Shell, Mitsui, Mitsubishi, or at that time it was a different operator, and Russian Federation. That place, Sakhalin, started to attract people, and it attracted me back. By that time, I've graduated international law faculty in Vladivostok, and Vladivostok, compared to the city, the town on my island, are two different places. Vladivostok is like little Moscow, little San Francisco. It's amazing, you know, bridges, water, little islands. So nobody in their sane mind would want to leave back to the island.
Home, yes.
But at that time, the only person I've ever listened to career-wise, my father, he doesn't really work in oil and gas, but he does give good advice actually from time to time. So he told me, you know what, if you stay in Vladivostok, you'll miss the golden mine. And that's what was his words.
So there was a big rush into the island because of oil, gas and business.
Absolutely. So
but you had no experience in oil and gas. You were in the law business, right?
I graduated as international lawyer, but my thesis was about the most efficient law in petroleum sector, which is Norwegian law, in terms of attracting the investment. Right. So I've been sort of studying this topic. When I arrived back to the island, I had tremendous stress as being in a small place. But very quickly I got hired by Shell joint venture. First to HR department, joined the HR department, and then I moved to legal. That's when I understood how dreams come true. I was told it is impossible
to get that job
that
in that company at that place,
absolutely,
that position.
Without really solid experience in
You must have been really
sector.
young, yes?
I was 24 when I started to dream about. I mean, when I just declared, I really just declared this is what I want. I've declared it to the at the interview to the recruitment manager who was hiring me for her department, and I said, she asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This Shell standard question, I suppose everybody asks that. I said,
now you're giving it away. Now everybody knows.
I see myself in legal department being an proper international lawyer dealing with contracts. And she said, well, lady, that's not possible.
Because we're looking for HR, you got no experience.
You don't have really profile experience that's required for that role. It's only 2 years that I had before. This is impossible, forget about it. So I waited for the position in legal and I applied. Being in recruitment, the position was dealt by my colleague and friend at the time, and I applied and they interviewed me just to tick the box, and they said, no thanks, thank you very much for participating, and I was given that no. So I cried, I came home and I said to my father, that's it, I'm leaving. Why am I there? I'm not enjoying myself. I really did not plan to become an HR specialist, although my career in HR was going quite well. My dad gave me the second career advice, which I followed.
He kicked you out the house.
He said,
outside and said, you work in there.
He said, don't go just because you're upset and resentful.
Wow.
People don't leave career like that. Find a great place and leave as winner. Say, I'm leaving because I found this amazing great place.
Instead of emotionally acting,
it wouldn't be good for me. So basically he says stay, and I stay, sitting there upset, but he also reminded me that my salary at the time was higher than my mom's salary because it was a petroleum company, paid well. And I thought, okay, let me wait for something really nice. Just 2 weeks later, somebody from legal department called me and said, our general counsel is coming. Hus was traveling from Moscow to Sakhalin, and he did very often, but he was based in Moscow. He wants to see you. Are you still interested to join legal department? As I understood, and as I believe till this moment, another position was created. And by the time Hus heard about me, everybody else in the company knew that I want to be a lawyer. I have followed dream building principles without having any clue.
Of it,
exactly.
Yes.
So what I was saying to everyone is, I really want to be an international lawyer. I really want to work in this department.
The news traveled.
Absolutely. And sometimes I went to legal department and asked my future colleagues, guys, for me to be hired one day, of course it's impossible right now, but one day, if a miracle happens, which knowledge would I need to have? Which skills I'm missing? Maybe I can start acquiring those skills. So this guy started to get booklets for different Master of Laws courses and stuff, and I went through this booklet. So I started to be close with them, and they started to consider that I have this dream.
But the thing is, you showed them enthusiasm, right? When you show enthusiasm,
absolutely,
and you're asking the right questions. Who doesn't want to have a colleague like that?
Absolutely. And that's what Hus told me. He's like, I don't care if you have experience in petroleum sector or not.
Yeah, you learn.
Because you got the right education.
Attitude.
Absolutely. You have amazing education and you want to be a lawyer. This is all we need. So I became a lawyer finally.
So in HR you were there 2 years?
A little bit more than 1 year.
Wow, amazing. Doing something you didn't really enjoy.
You
did it, but it wasn't your dream job.
It was, yes.
So how long were you the lawyer in this oil firm?
It took me another, I think, 8 years.
Wow.
8 years to realize that I want to move on.
Wow.
And
so you were there almost 10 years for the same company?
9 years plus.
On this island?
On this island, yes.
Wow.
But I've seen more world than people I've graduated with.
Because you traveled?
Because the company was conducting its activity through its Dutch offices, through London offices, through
it was 50% owned by
offices.
Shell, 50% by the Russian Federation, right?
No, it was 50% Shell, Mitsubishi, with the agreement that was signed with Russian Federation, and then later in 2007, Gazprom acquired the stock of the company.
Gazprom is a national firm now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
So basically NOC, national oil company, and now it's Gazprom, Shell, Mitsubishi. Quite a profitable project.
I'm sure. And this is offshore oil
It's
and gas.
offshore oil and gas and LNG plant, liquefied natural gas
Offshore.
plant. So it's quite a. Russia has, with that project, Russia has entered elite, the club of elite countries, LNG producers.
But Russia is the number one producer of gas on the planet, right?
Yes, but
Iran is second. Qatar is second, I think. Russia is first. Qatar is second.
Russia
Yes.
sells gas. I don't know where they are as a gas producer, but they sell gas, and that is a pipeline gas.
Right.
Selling liquefied natural gas is complex, requires horrendous amount of money, project financing. All the gas is sold before final investment decision, so it's quite a precise.
So what's the difference between the gas that goes in pipes to Europe, let's say, to the gas that's liquid gas?
It can be transported by sea. It can be
Ships.
transported by special vessels, so it can reach destinations like Japan, where building
Where there's sea,
pipeline
there's no pipelines. I see.
is quite complex.
And then, sorry, I'm asking you a question.
No
So
problem.
a tanker that has liquefied gas can feed Tokyo for days, right? Because when it turns from liquid to gas, it goes to larger areas. Am I correct?
So one minus the gas is liquefied with minus 162 degrees, and it shrinks. I think up to 600 times.
Wow.
And there are, yes, when it's in liquid form, and that's why this technology was adopted. When it's in liquid form, it's transportable, and then when it is regasified, the process of bringing it back to gasified state, regasification, then the volumes are very
Huge.
sort of big. Yeah.
So the ship's going every day. Every day ships.
Absolutely. Yep. Everybody trades LNG in this region, especially, or trades or sells. Or buys or sells LNG. UAE are buyers.
Oh, really?
sellers.
I was going to say we should be sellers,
They're
right?
sellers, but they plan to become buyers here in Sharjah. Qatar is the biggest seller in the world of LNG
correct.
specifically. Everybody wants to get into this. I don't know Bahrain. They will be importing. So yes, LNG is the and now with new IMO rules. With sulfur content in the bunker fuel needs to become very low, needs to be super low from
Yes.
2020. So LNG is the only response to these requirements.
Unlike oil, people talk about gas being unlimited, right? There's so much gas. Am I correct?
Yes. It's the reserves, the world reserves of gas are
As they know it, because there could
As
be a
the-
lot more, right?
yes as
'Cause all the time
proven.
they're finding oil fields.
But the reserves of gas are much bigger, but also gas is the much cleaner fossil fuel. Is the
Yes.
cleanest fossil fuel.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, the bet is on gas, and more
See,
and more.
what amazes me is my limited beliefs, right? So I'm thinking to myself, how much gas is there? If we're burning, because Saudi oil got bombed a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And they talk about 5% of production of oil, and within days, there's some areas on the planet that are going to run out of oil. I'm like, this oil that they're getting out of the planet isn't lasting that long, because within days, people are short. So how much gas, if we're burning so much gas or oil, how much gas is there?
I don't.
Right? Is there somebody keep producing gas in Middle Earth that gives...
There may be a technical mind that's required, to explain this.
Yeah,
but
wouldn't you think so? Because we're burning so much.
we're burning much, and we are using a lot. Gas is almost, what one of the first two sources of energy in the world.
Yes.
But
Oil, gas, and coal, I guess.
what fascinated me, coal is dropping in current world, but what fascinated me is the length and extent to which the technology can evolve. Because when we witness building the construction of LNG plant, it was, for the lack of a better word, inspiring. And when we witness four legs, basically huge legs, gravity-based structures on which the top sides is installed, and you will have
And
a
it
huge
floats.
And these 4 legs are floating. And for non-technical, non-engineering...
I still do. I'm
it's
like, how the hell, through storms, through anything, this thing stands in the middle of the sea?
Absolutely. And it floats first, and then they sort of install it. And there are so many things that this industry has taught us. But what's inspiring is that Statoil, the national company of Norway, are now so heavily into renewables and wind energy. And their message is, look, we know how to produce energy from whatever sources we could produce it. And we are experts on energy. So now we'll monetize wind, and we'll make sure that transition is happening. And I am so happy to see it. I'm happy that the energy companies, the oil and gas
are
companies...
becoming more aware of what they do to the planet.
Exactly. Are
It's
becoming
funny.
energy companies.
Yesterday we had a lady who was absolutely fine, and I'm more than happy to introduce you. She quit her job a year ago, and she's become a spokesperson for sustainability. She was so, honestly, I couldn't sleep last night thinking about all the stuff she educated me on. Because I thought, you know what, is the planet finished? Are we done now? Yes, because we're poisoning the planet, we're making it hot, and we're killing the animals, the fish, and plastic and everything. She was very hopeful. She was very positive that humans can turn it around. The way we destroyed it, we could actually turn it around by being a bit more conscious, corporate consciousness, and
you remind me
thinking about our carbon footprint.
Yep, you remind me of an interesting fact that Dr. Joe Dispenza shared at one of his seminars that I attended. A Japanese, whether scientist or researcher, has invented a very simple machine whereby the plastic is converted back to oil, which is machine oil. It can be just reused. It's so easy because we get plastic from hydrocarbons.
Sure. She just reverses it.
He reversed plastic remaining bottles or that back into oil, which can be used again. You can use it again.
It only makes sense, right?
And what I'm more fascinated by is that everything that the human being can produce as ideas, as plans, already is out there.
Yes.
So that's the principle of the world. Everything is known, but you have to become a channel of that known. There was a way to create a light bulb. It's always been there, but somebody had to channel it. And the somebodies of this world are those who say, I know it's somewhere.
Searching for it.
And people who don't believe them would say, you're crazy, right,
it's
brothers?
Never gonna work.
It's never going to work. It's not possible.
Stop dreaming. Be realistic.
Stop dreaming. And no, I feel it. It's somewhere. And then 9,900 times he tried to invent
Edison.
it.
What fascinates me is that this micro plastic they're talking about, microplastic, isn't it? The micro that the fish eat, that automatically goes back. When we eat the fish, it goes back into us, and how much plastic we're putting in ourselves. It'd be amazing if you use this Japanese doctors, and then they go scanning the sea, and then all this small amounts of plastic is converted into oil. It'd be amazing. She was saying yesterday that there's an area in the Pacific, I think it was Pacific, I think it was, she said, that the size of Europe, that's just plastic. The sea and the currents have attracted it in one place in the middle of the oceans. There's just plastic bottles.
So it's in one place. Nature has put it in one place, so we can collect
Europe.
it.
Yes.
We can collect it and do
Size of Europe.
It's just.
Can you imagine the size? You can flying over it. It's just shit in the sea that the nature's brought into one place. It's quite sad, isn't it?
I am still hopeful, and I became hopeful recently when I see 1 million children
a
in
new
Thailand
generation coming out.
meditating for peace in the world. When I see people like Lynn McTaggart with her Intention Project.
The 16-year-old young girl?
No. There is a quite a mature lady. She conducted the experiment on where large amounts of people meditate together. The same as Coherence Project by Joe Dispenza, and it's proven that when we do that, we actually are capable of suspending or even stopping the crime rate, lowering down the crime rate, suspending any conflicts in places where
There's conflict. Yeah.
where there is conflict. And when I see that, I become very, very hopeful that one day we actually have the chance to free ourselves from our own,
Sure.
limitations, and
Sure.
create the way to clean this planet
Yeah, for future generations.
for future generations. I do try to, where we place our focus, we place our energy, but I do try to really focus on greatness in this world. And one of it, for instance, which really attracts me after a few trips to Africa with oil and gas courses and for other reasons, there are so many non-poaching initiatives which we can help, for instance, because rhinos or lions are killed just for the sake of quick money, but then people get together, and one organization is actually pure females getting together under one roof and performing anti-poaching activities to ensure that this specific parks are protected, specific habitats are protected, which means they risk their life.
Yes.
And
you witnessed this, you saw this, right?
I didn't. I started to find all of it. And then in Uganda, in my trip in Uganda, there's such a great journey that the parks with gorillas and other wildlife, they went through from the point which it was absolutely normal to kill these animals, to the point where
it's illegal.
It's illegal, and there are people who are absolutely in love with these gorilla families.
Wow,
and they follow them and they are friends with them, and there is no way on earth where anything can happen. Yeah.
Thank you. Going back to the oil. I'm sorry, I wandered off because I'm really interested in this aspect. Life in the island. Do they speak all Russian, or there's different dialect going on?
Russian language. We speak quickly, very much quicker than native Western.
So when you speak, they know you from there?
Yes. I would say no. When they speak, we know they're from there, because if somebody is native and is from Moscow, St. Petersburg, the speech will be quite slow, quite less tensed.
Okay.
And the people from province speak quickly, whether they speak Russian or English. They just ta 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 ta. My boss used to say ta 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 ta.
Really?
That's the way you speak. Yeah.
So it's Russian.
It is Russian. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So you were there 10 years almost.
After university, yes.
What happened? What brought you? Was that straight to Dubai, or?
Yes, I figured that if I go to Moscow, I'll get stuck. I have this tendency of getting stuck now, thinking got stuck in Dubai a little bit, but I had series of unpleasant events where I had to go to Japan for second surgery. I broke my knee, and then I went to do some further repairs. And everything went so wrong that I could not
think it was for a reason or a sign.
Yes, exactly.
It's a sign, right?
I thought whether it's a sign or something else, but I thought there's something about life. I have no idea how it works, really. I did not do anything wrong, and I used to have really vivid victim mentality. As I did not do anything wrong. I did not, my sins are not so huge. I eat sweets from time to time. I drink from time to time, but I've done nothing to basically attract things like what happened to me in Tokyo. When I think I've demanded again the answer. And when I was in the airport...
May I ask?
Yep.
Were you into personal development then, or nothing?
No. I used to see a psychotherapist for the cases of extreme stress at work, but not really.
Not personal development.
Not
I guess
really.
they asked the right questions and you answered, right? But it wasn't, you were not into reading books and watching videos?
No.
Okay.
And I was at that time 31, I think. 31. So I exit Haneda or the airport, I think, and I go to a bookstore with my stick because I had this stick for walking for
Was
some
it a
time.
sporting accident?
Yes, it was a skiing accident, yes, and that's one of the things. I loved skiing, and this fear now takes away, and probably
The
still
joy
a
of
little bit,
skiing,
the extreme joy from being free and slaloming. And I did break my hand when I was a little, when I first actually got to the slope. But at that time, I knew what I did. I went all the way to the top. I didn't want to wait, and I went straight down. I thought,
So it was self-inflicted, yeah.
exactly. But the way it happened in Japan, and then what happened during the second surgery on my knee, was really quite disturbing. So I go to the bookstore at the airport, and I look for any books. And Japan is a lovely place, but there is almost everything is in Japanese. So I find this only book which is in English, and it says The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And I flip the book, and it says, you have issues in your life, you don't know how you created them. You are ready to take responsibility for your life. You really still think that you have nothing to do with your destiny? All of these questions exactly are answered in this book. So I bought the book, I started reading it, and from the first pages I understood there is something so powerful in me. Let me try it out. By that time I was already sending emails. I was already trying to apply and sending emails to Dubai, various law firms and companies.
Why Dubai?
Well, a bit of a cowardice decision. Lukoil was hiring people here. It's a Russian...
JLT, isn't it?
Russian... They were in JLT in Media City. They were hiring a lot of people from Sakhalin Island. And if you worked in Sakhalin Island, for Lukoil it meant that you were rubber stamped. You just got hired very quickly. I did not want to work for Lukoil, full stop. But I thought, if they can make it, then I can make it. And that sort of association
same line of work, legal, contractual work with Lukoil.
Absolutely, yes. But I did not want to work for Lukoil. I had an interview, but I continued looking for different things. So by the time I read the book, and I started to read the book, it was already a year me sending emails, trying to call someone,
for the right opportunity.
Me sitting in Sakhalin trying to get the job in Dubai. 4 months later, after reading the book, I started to receive answers finally. By the way, I mingle with people who did not respond me at that time, and a lot of them know me, and I'm like, you did not respond to, top recruiting agents, you did not respond to my email. But anyway, everything happened the way it should have. I came to Dubai with a friend for 2 weeks, and I said to her and to myself, you know what, if I'm reading this book, the closer I am to what I want, the more I know how to visualize it, how to start dreaming about it properly. I've never been there.
So when your friends were on the beach, you were in the car park of JLT.
I ended up
in the building.
I actually ended up in Weatherford, which was close to Mall of the Emirates at that time. Yes. And we had a hotel in Al Barsha.
Okay.
And how did we pick the hotel? We look at the map. Burj Khalifa is here, Deira is here, and then Sheikh Zayed Road, and then Marina and
you must have got mall, shopping.
No, we just went... Al Barsha is just in the middle.
Yeah.
We had no idea. It's just hotels and basically one big mall. It's not the most posh area of not the poshest area in Dubai, but we picked the hotel there.
Yes.
And we walked every day to mall or to get the taxi, and we passed Weatherford's offices. When I called the agent, when I arrived here, one of the few agents who actually responded to me, and I said, I'm here, can we see each other?
During your 2-week holiday?
During 2-week holiday, yes. And I thought that's exactly what I want to do. She told me, yes, please come, let's see. And when I came to see her, she told me, there will be an interview now for you, with you in Weatherford's offices. Do you know where to go? I'm like, I somehow, out of 2 places or 3 places, mall, hotel, and Weatherford, one of them is actually Weatherford's offices, so I know exactly where I'm going. So I came to Weatherford and got hired in 3 days. It happens when
Did you ever go back, or you just stayed? It's the longest holiday ever.
No, I went back.
Oh, okay.
I went back, and it was interesting.
So you gotta leave your friend and say, "Off you go. I'm staying."
when you actually have your dreams coming true, and the sensory experience is all switched on, and it's so amazing.
Yeah, your aerial's out. You're picking up on those waves.
I arrived to Sakhalin, and it was my niece's birthday, and my sister said, "Clown is late, the entertainer. You love children, you go and be a clown." So I'm in front of this crowd of very, very dangerous predators, being little kids saying, "Where is the clown?" And I'm gonna be your clown. And then just 10 minutes later,
you just got a job as well. So
I just received the call 10 minutes later, and I'm like, "Excuse me, kids, I have somebody calling me from Dubai." She called me and said, "This is what they offer." Da, 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 da. And I said, yes. You haven't heard the salary. It was, at the end of the day, it was much more
nicer
than
you wanted.
It was exactly what I expected, but it was much nicer than I had in Sakhalin. But 5 minutes later, she called and said, "I convinced them to give you $500 a month more." I said, "No problem, call again, you know."
Yeah.
So
I've suddenly become the richest clown in town, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The richest
And suddenly,
accidental.
and then suddenly you're delivering more value for the kids. They're like, "What happened to this? You take something." Yeah. Really.
Absolutely, yes.
So how long were you in? How long have you been here?
It's been 7 years, 2 years with Weatherford, and then 5 years with oil and gas consultants, which I've established right after Weatherford. I've decided that I'm done with corporate life.
Okay.
I do work in my clients' offices, but the idea of...
Are you a self-employed consultant? Or
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you get your clients? Just through reputation, or through an agency who hires you?
Never any of the agencies. I deal with a lot of them, but never any of the agencies have presented any opportunity. I can't explain any of this. I've always been very active on LinkedIn, but every time I got an amazing client, it was an absolute quantum field trick, miracle. Somebody knew me from one time we saw each other at the seminar, and she was sitting in the office being super busy. She went to her boss, said, "I need a consultant." Her boss said, "Only for 3 months. Where do you find a lawyer for 3 months?" She starts looking. She knows me, but she doesn't consider me as 3 months available for 3 months.
Yeah, so you're not available.
Well, she wouldn't even think about me. She knows that I have business, but nothing like that. So she calls to a law firm where she worked and says, "Guys, do you know somebody who will be available for 3 months, and this is the budget?" And they say, "Well, with that seniority and that experience, if we send you something, that will be super expensive. The budget is not sufficient because you want, I don't know, 10, 12 years of experience."
Yes.
But check out on Olga. She actually has a lot of experience, and she probably may be up for it, or she knows someone else. So I end up being in this company for 3 months, being brought there by a person who's just been hired, I don't know, like 6 months ago, because she immediately got overloaded. And I end up being there for a year and 4 months.
Wow.
So every 3 months I was
renewed your contract.
No, sit here.
And when you're doing this client, you don't have time for any other clients, right? This is full on.
No, normally I would, like, by this stage I thought I'll play it by my own rules. So I would agree with the client that I do day rate consultancy. So those days when I needed to be with other clients.
And I guess per day you get more than what you did in a month if you break it down, right? So day rate, if you collect times 20 days, you get paid more than you would if you were full time.
Yes. Well, that's one thing. But another thing, you don't put any risk of hiring you on your client. They can terminate you in 2 weeks. They don't pay your insurance. They don't care where your visa is from, whether you pay taxes.
With you.
Yes, absolutely. So you get more, but you bear more risk.
But if you deliver, you have nothing to worry about, right? So if you're delivering,
exactly.
Right?
But there were moments as when you work for a company like I worked. My client was Dragon Oil at that time. You realize that it may be 3 weeks you can't breathe, everything is urgent. But then when you did a lot of stuff and you send it out to the client,
Yes.
there will be days when you're like, okay,
Waiting.
I can do something, but I'm simply waiting for feedback.
Yes.
And then there will be 2-3 days where I could just, oh my God, I do remember this, where I could relate with my corporate life. I do remember this, where you're so busy that when the quiet time comes, when we are hired, it's interesting. When we are hired, when we are employed by someone, and you, I don't know if you've ever been employed by a company.
A long time ago.
When you are hired and you don't work for yourself, you work for a company, you take that rest time and you basically decompress. You don't do much. You decompress and you know the storm is coming. But when you are not hired and you can be terminated in 2 weeks and you're just a consultant and you
Yes.
build a new business,
Yes.
you take those 2-3 days when it's quiet and you say, I'll be back on Sunday, and you go and hustle.
Sure.
And that's what I did. I managed to train, I don't know, probably 20 times during this year before my training. I managed to create my website. I managed to do that and that and that and that and that and that. And I always say to people who want to start their business, start while you're still employed. Don't do
Quit, and then-
don't do Labai style. And Labai style was, I was out of the comfortable corporate life, and I created the company just for visa. My company's official name is horrendous. It's Olga Labai Consultancy because I had no
Rolls
idea.
of the tip of your tongue.
Because I had no idea how to call
Yes,
it.
yes.
And they said if I call it just consultancy, it's gonna be confused with any other. So we thought, okay, put my name in it. I was not going, and I was not meant to sort of grow it. But then when I registered the company, I thought, I might well try.
got a business here,
Yeah,
right?
I've got a business to run. It's registered. Why not? The first bank account has actually appeared only 6 months later, when I was ready to.
Was it Rack Bank by any chance? Was it Rack Bank?
No, it was actually Bank first, and after quite a struggle with my relationship management, I managed to get 2 corporate accounts in Emirates and BD. I'm still with them. Yeah.
It's funny, when I first started off, because I had no track record, nobody will open a bank account. I had checks in my hand, and nobody will open a bank account. I was like, this is a bad problem to have. I've got checks in my hand, right? So Rack Bank were the only one who will open up a bank account for an expat.
When was it?
9 years. It's actually 10 years today, this week, that I've been in Dubai.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
Thank
But
you.
it's actually a recurring problem, because after VAT implementation and after I don't remember what was the trigger. I don't. Yeah, somebody told me. But I don't remember the triggers. But at a certain point, banks started to. There was the FATCA was introduced, and a lot of sort of anti-money laundering and
Yes.
activities have to be performed. So it's now not as easy as it was for me to go
Yes.
and open bank
Yes.
account. So when I told about my sort of love-hate relationship with Noorbank, people who know how it's difficult now, they said, don't close it, just keep it.
Yeah,
Keep it, yeah.
we have an account with every bank now.
See?
Every bank. But the problem here is that, unlike the UK or Europe, I don't know, Russia, if you take your business somewhere else, you take your records with you, right? But here, for instance, if you go from a free zone to a mainland license, you lose all your trading record. You have to start from scratch.
Yep.
So if you're with a bank and you've been with them 10 years, you build a really good credit rating, you move banks with a different, or even a same bank, but you change your trade license, you have to start from scratch. All your trading, or every credit goes to zero again. Crazy, no?
It's interesting. You are bringing me back to a nice problem to have. A nice problem to have. I will build an online presence now with the training courses that I do for oil and gas, and I will have an issue with banks. Separate account and then the e-commerce license. So it will be a full e-commerce sort of runway. What I am struggling with, and I actually am afraid of all these numerous issues that I will have to encounter. Although everything was perfect up until this point,
Yes.
But e-commerce, something big, the money will flow from everywhere in the world, and people are waiting. I've received so many messages of support from folks I worked with who are now all over the world. Create something online. We do want to get some of your knowledge, about contracts and blah blah blah.
Sure.
But
share it, monetize it.
Yep. So now I'm at the point where I can mention that I've taken your book, which is called Click Millionaires.
But are you doing this yourself? Are you doing it yourself?
I will be, yes.
May I suggest something?
Yeah.
Hire people. No, seriously. What happens is with the entrepreneurs that I have, they feel they have to do everything themselves, want to save money, and they have to fully understand they don't. Hire the right partners. Okay? That's what I would do. Hire the right partners who have invested all their lives to becoming experts in that thing. Because you will never become an expert in everything. Yes? And how much is your time worth?
I would basically never try to build a website myself. And I hate when I worked, hate is not the right word, I laugh when I work with the web developers and they say, we'll create a website for you, Olga, which you will be able to update from the backend yourself. And I go, yourself is not working. I'm never gonna do this. Yes. It's great to be able to add a photo on a website, they say, and I say it's great to be able to have my time devoted to something else.
Exactly, because your time is far more valuable than that. But the challenge is to find the right partner, partner to help you. By the way, I want to introduce you to Karim. I actually have an investment in a law firm that we're setting up ourselves. And it has an online platform to attract people. He's the most wonderful guy. I'm actually doing a podcast with him tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But we work together. His offices are here. I'd like to introduce you to him. He's one of the most amazing, he's a lawyer that you will ever, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And maybe there's some synergy there.
Yep.
And he's got clients who's looking for lawyers.
That's,
or we could
great.
we could add your services on his platform. So
I would absolutely love that.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll connect you. I'll connect you tomorrow. I think he's just gone now. So, the knee's okay? Is your knee okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Are you skiing still?
No, I've tried this winter to ski, and I had fear. I had the biggest fear. I actually started, but on a very steady slope, a very sort of.
The funny thing is, I had a heart attack 10 years ago, and I was 20 kilos lighter than this. I was in the gym and I had a heart attack, and. But now if I go up the stairs, I'm out of breath. I think, am I having another heart? It's the mental thing rather than the actual. So automatically I've gained weight because I've stopped exercising like I used to. In the past, I used to get tired and I think it's nothing. But now I get tired and think, am I having another heart? It's psychological. And I bust my knee playing football. I bust an Achilles playing football. So all these injuries get worse as you get older. But I'm a lot older than you. So do you exercise?
I do. I started gymnastics recently and parkour, and
wow.
I do not accept the fact that I have to limit myself with
gymnastics. Like you do the somersaults and all this business.
Well, not yet. We just started handstand and then interrupted for summer. But it was handstand and it was cartwheel and it was front flip. Back flip is too much. But
you've never done this before.
I've never done this before. And my coach, he's a gymnast from the national Egyptian team, former gymnast. Now he's training kids and crazy adults like myself.
Are you there doing front flips thinking, what the hell am I doing here?
He says, you know what I like about you, Olga? You call one day and you say, Farid, I want to do front flip. No, Farid, I want to do back flip. And in 24 hours, we are training here for the front flip. You are proper crazy. I've never accepted the fact that I should live with limitations, and my knee has responded to me being sort of I'm fine. But I did not know the proper way of letting the limitations go. Because when I exercise in gymnastics, I have a lot of fears, a lot of inner. It's not the knee now. Mm-hmm. It's my inner psychology. You're absolutely right. And he sometimes says, I wish you fall and learn that
It's
falling
not
is
that
fine.
bad, yes.
I'm even afraid of falling just
Yeah,
from
the knee will
handstand.
give way. Exactly.
It's
That's
not-
the same.
yeah.
Going up the stairs in a different way, it could just go.
Absolutely,
Or it could,
and the knee or the wrists that I broke a lot of bones in my life. But now, in January, or probably in December, I came across the work of Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, heavy lift meditations.
Okay.
And I've started to do that on top of emotional freedom technique, and I feel that that's the proper freedom that comes to release, to forget those traumas. One of the events that I've attended was his famous week-long events, which get sold out in I don't know, in 40 minutes after the registration is announced.
Is it in the US?
They are. This one was in Cancun. The next one I will go to is.
I said that's a horrible place to go.
Cancun, yeah. Especially if you are not seeing any Cancun, you are meditating your ass off.
That's worse. I went to Bahamas on a Tony Robbins seminar. It was 8 till 12, and I didn't see anything. I might as well have been around the corner in Oasis Center or something. Yeah.
So basically, what I wanted to say, the next one is in Malta, and he's coming to Dubai. So I've registered to all of them because they opened the registration, and you go like, okay, it will be gone in 40 minutes. Let me register right now.
How many people go on these courses?
1,000
sold out in Dubai.
Sold out in Cancun, 1,000. In Dubai, they're still selling because it's a new location, and they're still selling now probably for 7 days. And it's, I think what I've seen last week was we had 80 spaces left. I'm pretty sure by now they will be sold out.
Amazing. What's his name again?
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza.
Yes, so this guy has introduced a meditative work where we properly take the power of the mind and create with it the inner world in which you live through the event way before, which may be healing, or money related, or abundance, or freedom, way before it occurs. So we create from inside out. We channel the ideas, we channel the abundance from the inside out, and that is much more appealing to me than all the motivational speakers in the world saying it's act that comes first, and then you will have a feeling, and then
you talk about the inner drive, the foundation of everything that you're dealing with, right?
In this case,
or your chakras, your inner.
Yes, in generally, I came to the point where everything is absolutely dependent on self-love. The moment we lack self-love, we will have all those anti-motivational things: self-criticism, procrastinating,
trading with people, love buying,
exactly, seeking for approval and validation, never really give our wild dreams a chance, all the issues, and then working from 9 to 5 and never taking the risk. All those issues start from lack of love in you. It's not the love to yourself. We say it's self-love. It's not so much, it's the way to channel, to feel this great feeling, where it's joy, passion at any age.
And there's no compromising, right? You either love yourself or you don't, right? There's no compromising, because in
there
life,
are levels.
I find in life a lot of people compromise, right? Most people compromise. They feel they're not worthy. They don't deserve this. Am I right?
Yes, but what you're talking about is feeling non-deserving or feeling unworthy, as a lot of coaches and motivators approach it, is the point where you address, why am I feeling unworthy and how do I make myself feel worthy? To me, it's an old school. You approach it with your mind.
It's the wrong question. It's to the wrong place.
You exactly. It's the wrong forum. The forum is you sit every day for an hour, 2 hours. People are sick with cancer, 4th stage, 4 hours a day. They have nothing else to do, and they bless with their own mind, their own chakras. He doesn't use the term chakras. He says blessing of energy centers, and he introduced another one. I mean, it's in our body.
Do you listen to tape? Do you listen to sounds? Do you listen to him talking? Do you listen? Silence?
I started. He does a lot of recorded guided meditations with his books. But I then started to have 1 hour just music. When I learned, I can cause movement in my body. I can cause warmness in my body just by sitting there and looking in. And now, after 9 months, almost 9 months of daily meditations,
Wow.
I can say I love myself more, and that's why I have the ideas, and that's
That
why
needs
I
a
have
lot of discipline, doesn't it?
I was told by a friend of mine that I have a regimen of athlete, and I said, that's why, that's because I was meant to be an athlete. I didn't mean to break all those bones. I broke them, and by the way, by theory of quantum physics, it may sound crazy, we actually create all the injuries as well, because it's the inner self-hate, is the inner lack of self-love and connection. It has to come out, and with some people, they do create cancers, or they do create other diseases. They don't want to. I'm not saying we do.
It's not intentional.
Exactly, but at a certain point, if I hate myself, if I criticize
So
myself,
they
every day,
attract the rock, or they attract the tree that they hit, or the rock they hit. Sorry, I'm not being ignorant, because some people break because they hit something, right? Skiing. True? Some people twist. Schumacher's head hit a rock, right?
Yes. I can't explain all the injuries.
No, I'm not saying be specific, but just like,
yeah.
Is it like your deep subconscious or unconscious drives you towards that accident? Is that,
Absolutely. And that is, it may be a wake up call, or it may be a death point for some of us, you know, or it may be a point where you say, this happened to me, this happened because of them, and accidents would either some other driver or absolutely unplanned. I fell on the ski.
Yes.
Without really planning to fall, and I was in Japan, and I broke my knee, and I paid horrendous amount of money to be repaired. My insurance didn't cover the time of sports.
Skiing accident.
My sister went to the hospital and said, wow, that's the bill, and they don't allow us to smoke in the room.
For that money, they should give us our, we should own the room,
champagne,
right? We should own the hospital. Yeah.
It was really, really, really funny. But I do remember.
Do you smoke? Do you smoke?
No, not anymore. But I do remember years and years of self-criticism, and still comes. But it was a mode of operating, you know, the mode of operating.
All I can think of is Mall of Emirates. The mode of operating.
Yes, and it's been, there was so much subtle and somewhat destroying self-hate. There is a very nice Abraham Hicks explanation about what are injuries, and when I heard it, I basically just said that this is finally somebody explains how quantum field works. You destroy yourself here, and then you destroy, and you destroy, and that cannot not attract either event or disease in your life.
I heard that, like, if you want to say something and you're holding it, that could lead to cancer of the throat, or is that similar? You have built up frustrations, anger, issues, lack of love.
You talk about the psychosomatic.
I don't know what it is.
Psychosomatic is exactly where you have an emotion trapped in your body, and if it's an emotion related to you not being able to back then many years ago to say something you wanted, and you still sort of feeling that emotion, and you still hold back, then yes, it will cause in this area, or female parts will be aching because you know a woman does not accept her femininity, does not accept her body, does not accept.
There's a reaction to your thoughts, to you.
Yes, but psychosomatic by itself, psychosomatic explanations are somewhat simplified these days. I see them very simple. When I started to go to do Joe Dispenza work, I see that it may not be as simple as that. How do you explain cancer in a certain place? You know, not really that at that place I keep and hold my emotion. That may be just the weakest place, and
that he found, that he sees,
that exactly
he penetrated. So.
But one philosopher and priest in Russia has wrote a book which I find an extreme point of wisdom, if I can say that. He said, fall in love with your disease. It shows you that you are not going the right way. He was saying you are not following the path of God, not meaning this particular God or Allah or any
the
other
higher being.
You are not following in your attitudes to life what the higher being has prepared for you, and the more you deviate from that path, the more you hate yourself, the more you hate your life, the worse it gets. So basically, your disease is just an indicator to tell you, hey, stop right here and just go the other way, go to feel joy, go to feel passion. What Joe Dispenza talks about is it is absolutely amazing to wake up one day, as Tony Robbins tells me, and say, today I'm gonna be happy. Bullshit. Doesn't work that way. And you and I, we know that life doesn't work that way. That's why for me a lot of motivation is a bit of an old school. They are amazing. They are absolutely amazing for those who already love themselves enough.
They're already self-motivated.
Exactly, that they have that inner drive. They are in touch with their themselves, you know. For those who are
conditioned
struggling,
or damaged,
exactly,
or whatever
struggling with addictions, with struggling with addictions,
demons,
for instance,
they're their own demons. Yes.
They're huge demons, and I still do cry a lot, but I was crying every day, and it could be half a day I was in tears, and for most of my life I didn't know where it comes from. And then I would be...
Before you got into personal development, you used to cry?
Absolutely, yes. And I still do have this tearful nature. And if I say to people back 10 years ago, I'm shy, they would never believe me. So there were so many demons that there is a huge gap of how I appear and what I'm fighting with.
Would you say you were happy before?
I wasn't.
Really?
I couldn't say.
Although
no.
From the outside, anybody looked at you, they think, why can't she be happy? She got
I
everything.
had absolutely amazing happy moments, but in the overall, total in it, you know, bottom line, I can't say I was happy.
Sorry to ask, but have you been in a relationship?
Yes.
And in a relationship, what were you like?
It was difficult for me because I ended up being in a relationship where I felt secure, but not really sure that I want to be in a relationship.
And the other person felt it?
Very often, yes. I was indecisive and I was hiding. I'm blessed, absolutely blessed with my, I don't know, boyfriends and fiancés. But at that time and still now, I am following my own truths. I am not now, I'm work in progress and a lot of the work done, but at that time, absolutely not a material for love. They say, and it bites our ass now, love yourself first and then you will be able to fall in love. And when you hear it, you think, seriously? It's such a banana.
Explain a little bit more what you mean.
It is an absolute truth that being in love with yourself,
yes.
Again, just channeling that love for life, which means automatically allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to rise and fall, allowing yourself to fall, and then only one time rise, allowing yourself to be so kind and generous with yourself without procrastinating, without I'm so kind and generous to myself and I'm sitting here and I'm fine. No, you actually have enough love to self-realize. If it's accounting you are doing but you hate your job, the proper self-love in nature, which we don't possess by itself, it's a journey for all of us. The proper self-love in nature will push you out of accounting and you will start needing business or needing freelance,
So that could be in your love life. That could be in your relationships, in your friends, right?
What do you mean?
If you have empowering thoughts, you will attract the right people in your life, right? From the job, yep. Right partner, right friends, correct?
It starts from the feeling. We are often misled into believing that thoughts can make it all and affirmations can make it all. No, the way we create our life is by having thoughts and feelings coherent,
in sync exactly. Then you become very powerful.
In sync, and that's the creation. And there are so many ancient books now found that that's the way it is. So at the moment, I have thoughts not in sync with what I feel, and I say until I'm in sync. Right now. Well, there is some dissonance. Okay. I'm very much a happy person now. I can tell you, but it took me a gosh, thousands of miles flown and seen all the authors I wanted to see, thousands of pages, including heaviest psychology. I just couldn't figure out, why do I want the glass of wine instead of book? Why am I seeing the only way to relax as going into, going and taking a cigarette and a glass of wine, as I know on the long term it's not serving me. What is it in me in particular that makes me cry?
What made you go down that route? Because again, someone looks at you, successful job, earning good money, power position, yes, leader in your industry, person in demand, things are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you reflect and think time for change? Or
I had spent weeks on the sofa crying after I had to leave my company, that hired me, and it wasn't pleasant. I was asked to leave. They paid me well. Immediately I've received a couple of job offers, but I was just sitting there.
You felt rejected, right?
I felt all the feelings that I was carrying since I was a kid, and they got
all
aggravated.
Your fears.
All my fears, all my feelings, all the abandonment, all the rejection. You're absolutely right. All the self-denial, because it's always self-denial. The world treats us by exact proportion of what we treat ourselves. And it's 100% true. But the world normally treated me a little bit better, actually, than I treated myself, or even sometimes much better.
Because if somebody was inside you, they'll be locked away for torture, right? Because the way you're talking and stuff is self-abuse, correct?
Exactly. So I was there on the sofa, and I was crying in Dubai, for everyone back home looking happy.
You would have been in your mid-30s, right?
I was 34, yes.
So you're still
34.
very young.
Absolutely, yes. And sitting there crying, absolutely, my eyes were, just floating out. But looking like I'm a successful person, I've got money, I got job offers, I could do that. I did not want to do any of that. I knew that I can scrap all of it and just throw into garbage, because none of it did bring me happiness. And you asking, where did it start? It started at the point of the lowest point, where I thought, I'm on the 22nd floor. It's gonna take only a few seconds. But then I thought about people I love, and the love won the game.
Wow.
But it was a kickstart of healing, but another 5 years, and I'm not.
You were
I'm
saying,
not done.
so to clarify this, you were thinking of maybe jumping off the balcony.
I thought I had a thought of suicide. Yes, it was so painful. Everything in this world that's ever gone wrong, I remembered everything. I have this scar tissues, psychological scar tissues, which I'm still seeing, experts in emotional freedom with all the energy, new psychology and energy medicine. But there are certain things where I understand the way I was, this much crying, this much pain, you would say that person have been abused in childhood. Nothing like that. Wow. Nothing like that. I had mom and dad, and I've never had any abuse. Probably distance, probably that I don't know what made
a bit of a neglect type of thing, but not
exactly, parental mistakes, whatever. Yes. But nothing that would justify
extreme, like people will say, oh, this person abused physically, mentally. There was none of that going on.
Absolutely. So
that was my first, when he said that, I was like, my initial thought was were there problems, serious problems as childhood?
No, it's the misplaced energy. It's an absolutely misplaced energy. All my life I've practiced, and that was a lot, that societal patterns, to place the energy on what goes wrong. So when I realized I'm not justified in what I am, and of course my family was concerned and my friends were concerned, where all of it is going, and I complain and I talk about the unhappy moments and my tears and all of it. None of it is really justified, but I only used it as an excuse to even convict me even more,
Yeah, because you get lots of love when you're actually in a bad place. So you weren't everybody's number one list for a party.
Everybody member of
If there was somebody who's going to have a party, you wouldn't be on top of their list. Right? You're like,
I actually was.
why aren't people inviting me to parties, right? Because like, maybe this looking for something goes wrong. So you thought, wait, I'm not being invited to parties. I'll become a lawyer. Yeah, look at everything that could go wrong, right? So there's no.
No, it's the misplaced energy, and it's the thinking patterns caused by the feeling. First was the feelings.
Yes.
That first are always the feelings that alter us.
Yeah.
So any of the traumas may be small. Maybe you've lost your mom and
building.
dad in childhood, but not addressed. That feeling
It just keeps
starts
building and adding.
accumulate, and that's why by 40 we come to this life, 40, 42, and people are like, oh, I'm disappointed in life.
They're reflecting.
It's not about disappointment. It's not about how life treats you. It's you've been carrying that garbage for so long. And imagine in 34 I decide to clean it out, and it's like more and more and
Well, you're
more
blessed
and more
because you're
and
young.
more
If you
and
waited
more.
another 10 years, it would have been a lot more shit to clear out, right? So you're kind of blessed.
I
with the
am, but I
decision.
see people in Joe Dispenza seminars, and oh my God, thank you world for bringing that person to into my life, where meditation, I've heard the word, I've tried meditating, not for me, But here you read the book, you see people curing stage 4 cancer where they are told, go
Count the
home and die.
days, yeah.
Exactly, count the days. And I've seen them, I've hugged them. And some of the sport injuries, by the way, I do know the guy. I've hugged him 17 times probably during the event. He broke 3 vertebrae because he fell unluckily from skydiving. And he healed, but he was always contracted a bit like that, so he couldn't lie down. He actually lied down on stage 15 times, and it's recorded in one of the testimonials.
During the course?
No, he went on stage and he said, I'm meditating for 2 years now.
2 years.
And there is always in meditations, there is a point where you are able to switch off your neocortex. And this is how we remember. This is my pain. This is what happened to me. And this is your neocortex and other parts of the brain that are programmed to protect you from exercising, from doing that. They say, this is something I never can allow, so there will be a lot of fear. And it's generational. It's normal to have fear. However, it limits you in your life, right? You don't do stuff you want to do.
Absolutely.
So this guy and there will be a year or 2 of meditating. There will be a long time, sometimes few months, where you are able to go into a space where you are nobody. And that's what Joe Dispenza basically talks about. You become nobody in no time, in no space. So you come to the point
You're in
where...
with the universe.
Exactly. You come to the point where all of it switched off. So your body
And that comes
forgets...
through time. That's why 10, 15-minute meditation is not good enough. That's why you do an hour and a half.
I've done long ones, yeah.
It's the longer
Yeah,
you do,
yeah,
the
yeah.
more you go into that space, right?
Yep.
And then when you're in that space, time flies.
Yes.
You don't fall asleep. You
don't fall asleep. Like I practice meditation, and there are times when I feel that. And by the way, when people say, "Oh, my problem is that I try to control everything,"
No,
it's
you let it
everybody's
flow.
exactly. It's everybody's problem, and that's what it is. Trying to control
it.
is the lack of trust. If you're trying to control something,
Let it go. Let the traffic go. Let the noise happen, right? It'll empty itself eventually.
the moment we are basically doing it as practice daily, we lose control and we lose the memory of me being sick, me being with broken knee, me being with scoliosis. There are thousands of times I've heard that scoliosis is not curable. And now there are hundreds of people I've seen that cured scoliosis with meditating. Of course, you have to address yoga, stretching, and stuff like that. I'm not saying energy is all you want to do when you see, but energy will. Oh gosh, it's just miracles that happen. Energy is the first thing that you want to address, without forgetting about the physical.
I want to ask you a
aspect.
totally random question. How do you feel about death? Has it made you handle it differently? Do you ever think about it?
I don't know.
Because
I don't.
I think when you mentioned, I was thinking at one with the universe. Is that what happens when someone dies? Because that soul, the energy, is at one with the universe.
It's why it takes so long, because some of us, and me in particular, are afraid that once I'm one with the universe, and once you're sort of
It's gone.
you are the neocortex goes, oh my god, I'm dying, you know, I cannot be nobody, nowhere, in no time.
Came from nowhere, went for nothing, didn't affect anything. It just came and went.
You don't even realize the social component of it. I did not affect anything. You just your brain goes like, nope. I have to control. I have to be, because all our life we are trained to concentrate on time, on space, and on the body. And we concentrate on time, on space, and on the body. And this is explained brilliantly in Joe Dispenza's books.
He deals with it, yeah?
He deals with this, and he deals with emotional addictions. So by the time I was 34, where I thought of suicide, now, how funny is that thought? But now, 5 years later, it's extremely funny. It is extremely funny because I've seen people who were abused and went through much more stuff in life than I've ever even dreamt of or seen on TV, and they have not thought about suicide. Why is that? The moment we get emotionally addicted to feeling pain, then nothing can take us out of there.
You're there, you're hooked.
You're hooked because it's been proven, and it's now the one of the recent discoveries, that our brain is only part of equation, and memory is not in our brain only. Guts have 100 million neurons. Heart has 40,000 neurons. And each of those chakras, or energy centers, as Dispenza calls them, is a mini brain. So when you decide one day, I'm going to be happy,
your
gut will say, hey.
That's what I get, a gut feeling.
They say we have a gut feeling, yes. But what happens is, once you've stuffed yourself for 10, 12 years with grief or loss or anger or fear, in your case, Dariush, your cells have receptors, and in the cell
they react in a certain way. When
in the cell there will be little receptors, and they are like holes accepting the signals through neurotransmitters. And the cell has a receptor for when you're born, for nutrition, for water, for that. Now 10 years of grief, your cell has to adapt. So during 10 years it kind of stucks out.
Hooked. Yeah,
the receptors for good stuff, and it's less.
It tracks the shit
and
stuff that you've got used
and
to.
it has more receptors for your stress because it has to survive. And then one day
and
you
that's
decide
even without
to be
thinking, because it's your gut, right?
You just continue feeling the same feeling for enough, and you become emotionally addicted. And emotional addiction is behind every single addiction. It will be very revealing of me to say I've spent, was it 2 months? A month or 4 weeks, I went to AA because I thought, you know what, I have wine too much often, you know, and it's
and
not
you
that,
didn't, and you didn't,
and it's not so much the quality, it's that I feel I want it, and that's what started bothering me. Nothing else gives me pleasure but this glass of wine in this ritual way and form. So I did the cold turkey, you know, like halas, and I ran to AA. Every single day people repeat to themselves, I'm an alcoholic, yes. And go through the same cycle of emotions. 30 years later, do you think they will ever be able to believe that they are not, that they are what they want to be? No way. So I jumped out of that. I said, no. Whatever I am.
Yeah, my name is Olga, I'm an alcoholic.
Exactly. Whatever I am, I don't want to reinforce that. Yeah. And I basically started to listen to Abraham.
Because to them it's acceptance.
And it's
not acceptance, it's reinforcing.
Exactly. Right. So what I did, I've addressed the emotional addiction behind every other sort of addiction that I had. I managed to quit smoking after 18 years. Yes, I used certain, help, and I have experts that help me, but I used to do that as well with a full decisiveness, but then I used to go back to smoking after some time. This is the longest time I didn't smoke. And I cannot tell you I hate it, I miss it, or I hate the smell. Nothing like that. It's just absent in my life. Behind every addiction we have, or is when it is being developed. Like I caught my addiction to alcohol when it was on the onset, you know, it was like,
You could feel it coming.
and I was
yeah.
like, I am so worried that this is the
It'll
place.
take over. It'll get worse.
Exactly. I'm so really worried that this is the place where I wait for the weekend just to have this experience. I don't want to. But it was scary. And of course, I've done what others would do. You know, cold turkey. That's it. I live my life, and
It didn't last.
It did. But after 6 months, I've dealt with emotional addiction. Now
Then
I
it
don't.
lasted.
Now I don't want
Yes.
anything
Yes.
to be excessive in my life.
So you don't even try a glass of wine now?
I do.
But you
Weekends
don't-
with salamis, if it's allowed to say, you know.
Sure.
Bit of salami, a bit of really good Italian wine. A friend
So you
of
don't
mine
fear if
treats
you have a
me.
glass of wine, you go straight back because it's a new lifestyle. It's a new you.
It's when you get rid of emotional addiction, you know it's gone.
Wow.
Or you decrease it substantially. You know it's gone. You know when you wake up in the morning and you think, oh, mamma mia, I actually have a day to live.
Yeah.
And you don't think, I've not achieved that yet, I've not achieved that yet, I'm not that big, I'm not that powerful. The emotional addictions from the gut and from the heart will produce thoughts. So now see how a twist it is on a normal motivational stuff. Motivation says, you decide here, and
you
that's
make the
it,
rest,
and you make
yeah.
it. And I say, none of it works. At least it doesn't work without you feeling something.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the people, they say, "Oh, I've been there in you know, Joe Vitale and Hoggins. This guy became Navy SEAL, and then I stood up, rose up, and I became, you know, a Navy SEAL, somewhat strong and stuff like that." There was already a predetermined aspect of being capable of winning the emotional addiction, being capable of winning the sadness, the grief, the anger. A lot of people become you know big and influential without even winning their emotional addiction. So you will see a speaker who's somewhat angry or somewhat I don't know, self-doubting or somewhat there will be a certain emotion that you can feel, you can pick up. But it does not hurt them. It's not as addictive, let's say, or it's manageable.
Yes.
But in
maybe
my case,
maybe you see it because you're sensitive towards those things. Maybe majority of people don't even feel it. The speaker, true. And then you say it and you go, "Oh yeah, I picked up on it, but I didn't think about it." Have you ever had that?
yeah. Happens.
Maybe. So just going. Thank you for this. So. Right now, you are. Tell me about your website. Tell me about what you're doing. You have obviously, you have a great message to deliver. What is that message? Where is your career going? You're still doing some legal work,
Yep,
but you are
absolutely.
looking at pursuing your dream, which is.
I'm bold enough now to say what is my dream. I see myself speaking to thousands.
Okay.
The message is clear. The message will be channeled. It's not my message. It just will come from somewhere. A lot of things have already been said. A friend of mine saw me in a dream and said, "I saw you speaking to thousands of people in the audience, but you were talking about women, empowering women."
Okay.
I don't want to narrow down the message. I sort of feel that being a public speaker is being medium, but the message will be there, and it's always inspiring. It's always making sure life-changing,
for the positive, for the better.
Absolutely, and it's always making sure that people do see the other, you know, the absolutely other different ways of growing and developing. Somebody contacted me recently and said, "Hey Olga, you write about Joe Dispenza on Facebook. He's coming to Dubai. Is it okay? What do you think? Should I register?" By the way, my husband says that it's all charlatans and stuff like that. And I understand that this planet is probably absolutely full of people who are who are living in Newtonian world, who do not and who are not willing to address the energy side of things.
Yes.
Yet we are energy, and
So
there is.
what was your answer?
Huh?
What was your answer?
My answer was, I'm not gonna try to convince your husband, but Joe Dispenza has changed my life and he continues to do so.
She's
So I actually responded very late, and she came back and said, you now send me a message to something I sent a week ago, but I've registered already.
Good.
Like, okay, I did not have to convince anybody. I just had to do my stuff.
You know what's amazing? I've been to events where the husband has dragged the wife or the wife has dragged the husband, and they ruin it for their partners because whatever it is, they closed. The best thing to do for this lady is to come by herself.
Yep, absolutely.
Not bring him along, because he's going to sabotage this course for her, right? Because he's decided already that it's a charlatan, it's not going to work, it's shit, it's this and that.
Absolutely.
Waste of money, waste of time.
Absolutely. And the more, and Tony Robbins explains it amazingly at one of the videos that went viral, where he spoke about Me Too movement.
Yes.
All he said was absolute gold.
And he turned against him, poor son.
What he said is absolute gold, because if you perpetuate, think the event has happened. I'm not in any way trying to promote the event or trying to say there is anything positive in it. But we decide what we make out of this event. Correct. One thing, I call myself victim.
I can't agree, because then I'm seen as an ignorant man. Are you with me? So
I'm
coming from a woman, I'm like, thank God, because I dare not say anything. I actually understood and agreed with what he said, but I couldn't say anything.
I'm a female in oil and gas, traveling to Basra and Erbil. You can imagine how many comments, how many jokes, how many uncareful replics I have heard towards me behind my back and so on, because I'm the only one who was training 25 people. They're all guys, tool pushers, roughnecks, oil field trash, as we call ourselves. And I'm a lawyer training those people, telling them what to do. So sometimes I would have a bit of a, argument, and then the fact that I'm a female and I should know my place was addressed in any way they could find. And a lot of this was not really very respectful. And I was really given the comments about that. The question here is only misplacing the energy. If we talk about victimhood, if we are drowning ourselves in a victimhood, it happened to me, it happened to me, it happened to me. No, it happened through you. And it's not the punishment for any sin you've done. It's nothing like that. But when it happened, it can be a wake-up call to work on your energy. Forgiveness. It's just the way of not holding that emotion which keeps you hostage. So that person who's done it to you still has a power. And Viktor Frankl, of course, is the biggest. The
book that he wrote about the Holocaust.
Exactly, is the freest person in the entire world. None of them is free.
I was reading the book and I was like, did this guy really get tortured? Did he witness death? Because there's no anger, maliciousness, nothing. It was just so fact. It happened.
And one thing about the Joe Dispenza's recent testimonials, as a woman who went through abuse several times in her life, starting as we all would do, starting all the legal cases, being then abused and all the negativity from the policemen who dealt with her, because a small city wasn't really all appropriate. And she says, I start feeling sick, 2 years after, 3 years after, I'm sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker, but all these cases continue. And she comes across Dr. Joe Dispenza work, and she starts meditating. And less, with more and more channeling love through yourself, less and less you want to concentrate on what happened to you, or all those, you trust the universe will deal with them. And somehow she says, nobody could actually believe me, but I've dropped most of these cases. I don't want to think about. I don't want to think. Yes, she says, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to go in. I'm actually so much in love with myself that I found whatever job, and I'm ready to move on from this town, from this country. I'm free. And it's like you watch then the reaction to Tony Robbins' explanation of the push. The more you push, the more resistance there is, and then why you would want to be a victim. Okay, you can create, as Mother Teresa said, I don't want to go to a marsh against war. I want to go to a march for peace. It sums it up, you know. It's where we place our energy. So I guess the last thing I would say, the message that I would so much be blessed to deliver, and I see myself in Coca-Cola arena every day during my visualization meditations. I see myself there speaking to I feel I have that here, but there's still a little bit of resentment, a little bit of anger, a little bit of excuse me, disappointment, doubts, a little bit of everything. That cocktail does not allow me to. There will be one day when I'm ready, but so far
have you done many talks already?
Absolutely, yes. Incredible Transformation Academy.
Sorry. Yes.
And that's how I met your dear friend.
Mm-hmm.
He helps me a lot, actually.
That
I'm very
does.
grateful. Yes.
That's nice.
So
how does he help you?
I've organized a mastermind group where I wanted that we get together and we meditate together. And we started doing so, and we meditated for each other's.
Does he come to the?
Yes, and he helps a lot with a lot of content. But I'm juggling between oil and gas consultants now, having a new spin. I want to create online courses. I'm finding contractors. I'm finding companies like yours to help me with sales and marketing. I have no idea what it is, apart from just simple things. The most important thing, I have no intention to have an idea. I mean, it's cool. You know, it's all miracle to me. How do you do this stuff, the funnels, the channels and stuff? When I try, it never works, you know.
Sure.
Because probably my Facebook budget is never more than $30. But so he helps me a lot with content on Mastermind Group, which is an incredible transformation academy. Nice. And I feel we are there for a long-term friendship and relationship with all MMG participants. Now I do the talks in Emirates Towers in the Youth Hub. They really just gave us walls and home and shelter.
So how do you promote yourself? How do you get people into the hub to listen to you?
It's by Facebook and by word of mouth and by email through.
Would you like to share with the audience what your Facebook page or website or any? How did they get hold of you?
We send an email out through Eventbrite.
Now, how do they get hold of you? If somebody listening to this wants to get hold of you, how can they get hold of you?
Through Facebook page. Yes, through
and
Facebook
your Facebook.
page.
I need to coach you on sales, right?
You absolutely.
So you say through Facebook, and what is your Facebook page?
The trouble is, Incredible Transformation Academy so far doesn't really sell a lot. We sell EFT
but
seminars.
If somebody searches for you and they want to email you, how do they do it? How do they contact you?
They are gonna be creative and they're gonna be.
Do you have an email address?
I do.
Would you care to share the email address with us?
Absolutely.
Please do.
I don't. You know what? I actually don't know. I think there is a mobile phone, and everybody who wants to get hold of me will easily find my mobile phone. Unfortunately,
on the Facebook page.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere. You Google Olga Labai. Okay, you Google Olga Labai, and there will be millions of.
She needs coaching, right?
Of ways to find me: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and so on.
Spell everything, please, for the audience. How did they get hold of you? What did they Google?
They Google Olga Labai Incredible Transformation
How do
Academy.
you spell? Come on. How did this spell? Olga. O-L-G-A.
O-L-G-A. Labai, L-A-B-A-I. This is a crash course on what? Selling or spelling?
Well, the thing is that people are listening like, I'm like...
Olga Labai.
Yeah, exactly. So please...
Olga Labai.
Yeah. Labai spelled
L-A-B-A-I.
I.
As iPhone. I as iPhone.
Olga Labai.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com so far would be the easiest one, yes.
But if you actually put your name in Dubai, things will pop up, right?
Yes. Okay. The LinkedIn will pop up. A profile that has now 7,000 followers and 120 and not accepted. I don't know what
on
is
LinkedIn,
it. But I have no idea what I do right.
Yes,
with LinkedIn that I don't do right with Instagram. On Instagram, I'm proud owner, or not owner, proud superstar with 145 followers. I have no idea what to do with that, you know.
145,000.
145.
Then it ends. Okay.
Exactly.
What's your Instagram page?
It's Olga Labai. It's Olga Labai.I.speaker. a bit complicated. But I.Speaker is inspirational speaker. It's the brand.
I know, it doesn't really matter. So if I was holding an event and I want to tell my audience Olga is coming, in 15 seconds, 20 seconds, tell me what the audience will get. What's in it for them listening to you?
Olga is coming as a speaker.
Yeah, I've got 10,000 people coming and I booked you in for half an hour. And I've got to pitch you to the audience. And I say, we have this lady called Olga coming and she's going to deliver this to you. What is this?
Extremely inspirational, life-changing, energy-moving speech of not allowing yourself, and every word will be engraved in the memory of every listener, and the heart will open, and it will be so life-changing. And the message is, each of you have no right to give up on yourself. You have no right. You're giving up on yourself, whether you are in an abusive relationship or boring job or disappointed about never making it, or searching for someone special and he never or she never appeared and you just quit searching. You have no right giving up on yourself, because you damage, you harm the planet, and you being happy makes the planet better. Is that
15
short
seconds?
enough?
No, it was about 45 seconds. So I get it. That's one heck of a promise, right? Do you hold classes? Or
So
workshops?
So far with Incredible Transformation Academy, that's 3-hour seminars in the Emirates Towers. And
in the hub?
In the hub,
wow,
yes.
amazing.
And it's the last one was about the latest scientific discoveries about the power of the mind. Is mostly about the power of the mind and the power of the thought and how unlimited it is. With a thought correctly applied, we can heal ourselves, we can make our life work, and we can jump out of addictions as emotional addictions. So those seminars last for 3 hours, and I build sort of community with Bharat is one of frequent flyers. And then the EFT seminars, a very easy self-applied stress relief tool, emotional freedom technique, has been there for a while, invented by a Stanford educated engineer, Gary Craig. He's still there teaching EFT, helps millions of people to get through phobias, addictions, stresses of life, and helped me a lot until I started meditating and I started to combine EFT
Then
and
it became
meditation.
powerful.
But it's by itself, it's an amazing, incredible way to address stress. It's the combination of ancient Chinese medicine and the positive psychology, where you basically just stop on a certain points and you think about the problem, so your feeling comes up.
Do you teach this?
I do, yes, I do.
In your course, in your workshop?
Yes.
Wow, amazing. The hub was, how did you get into the hub? Because that's another something you said, because lots of people are trying to get into the hub and they don't even know, but you, through obviously not
Did other people try to get into
I
the hub?
heard, yeah. And they don't know where to go, who to approach, nothing.
Everything
What
that
about
happened
congratulations? Right?
Thanks a lot. Everything that happens when it happens, and I guess unfortunate or fortunate, not sure. Part of me is that people really find the ease of things in me.
Yes.
Oh, you got that and you got that, and it's when the blocks are not there, everything should come easy because we have an electromagnetic field and we magnetize things. So Tatiana, a dear friend of mine and my marketing and I'd say more email marketing specialist and designer. We now can't work because she's employed in the company doing a couple of projects. But she wrote an email to the hub telling about us. We got the meeting, and at that meeting I was talking more than I talk now. We're gonna change the world. And the lady we met called Noor was so amazing. It's like living in the Emirates, meeting young Emiratis is one of the most rewarding things that I can address. Is when you see this person, she wants to open an academy and help people, children who are not privileged, to learn karate. She wants to help us, as she calls some. She says some of the companies, some of the successful businesses started as small little communities like a chess club or knitting club, and now they're fully fledged businesses. She is so in her. I don't know what challenges she goes through, but she was the best meeting point or entry point
She
for
heads
us.
the hub.
She works in the hub, so she helped us to present ourselves, to convince that we can add value.
And then they promote you? They promote you?
Amongst members, yes, amongst members.
That's
so
amazing.
members of the hub, Emiratis and non-Emiratis, will get the email about what's happening. That's one thing. But another thing is the combination, and I absolutely encourage everyone, the combination of the events that they line up there with I don't know if you know Coach Kardan. He does leadership skills.
Yes.
Olga Labai, Incredible Transformation Academy. You can change your life with the power of your thought. A lot of calligraphy classes. A lot of various marketing courses. The combination.
They don't
of
pay people. You don't get paid, right? You put it off for free.
Yes. Well, the agreement.
Charge?
The agreement is. The agreement is we may potentially charge, but those who come from our sources, not the members.
Yes.
But you don't want to use that platform for.
It's a beautiful energy there. Lots of young people having fun.
And this design. And you know what? I met a few months ago, some time ago, I met a person who asked me, what do you do? I said, I have business, consulting business, and now I'm speaker, inspirational speaking geek. His business is producing on a large scale the scenes, the perfume smells, scents in huge areas like Dubai Mall, Jumeirah Hotel.
Wow.
So when I asked
there's
him,
a certain smell to everywhere you go. Yeah.
Exactly. When I asked him, what do you do? He said, do you remember how nicely it smells in the Emirates Towers? I said, yeah, I'm just from there. I had delivered my event. He's like, that's what our business does. So they install this thingy bobbies over there, and it smells there nice. It really looks nice. It smells nice, so you want to come back.
All the
you know?
senses are working.
Yeah,
Clever.
So that's. I now know a lot about the hub, including why they smell so nice.
Would you honor us by inviting to your next workshop or event?
Absolutely. When it's organized, it will be November, after I'm back from another Joe Dispenza event. I'm not missing any of those. I probably will miss some of those in the South America again. It's a long-ass flight. But I will not be missing those that are happening in this part of the world. So yes, I once I organize something where I report on my meditating journey
Sure.
and the new discoveries about the power of the mind, and how can you let go for once and for all the
Things
fears
are holding you back.
Yeah, and things are holding you back, and others as well. I mean, it applies to everybody, absolutely everybody. Then yes, you will get the invitation.
I'll be honored.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope, how long have we been? Over 2 hours. 2 hours?
1 hour 30 minutes.
What?
1 hour 30 minutes.
Amazing. Because we spoke before. Have you enjoyed it?
I did, and that's why I'm organizing Radio Olga Labai. I've been using hashtag because that's all I want to do.
No, we loved it. I loved listening to you, and I thought it was about an hour. So thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and I love to follow you in this journey and share it with the audience and see how many people you change their lives for the better.
I would love to stay in touch with you.
Done.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much, Olga. It's a bit awkward, but thank you very much for coming.